things off here, Dustin, with we barely knew ye, the score. You were here, and now it looks like you are gone.
I'm usually taking L's on this podcast. I'm pretty sure I was a proponent early on of the score and what they were doing. They have what is a pretty good app for sports. Mm-hmm. They then integrated a betting app where you can say, oh, here's this game, go bet it on over here at our betting app. I thought this was pretty cool, and was a model that could work in the US. It did not work at all. It has been a bit player. So the score, catch you up, was acquired by Penn National Gaming, which also has a deal to operate with Barstool Sports to operate that sportsbook under that brand. So what they've done is retire the score bet, or they're about to, from the U.S. market. It's only going to be in the Canadian market. This is likely why Penn National acquired it, because it's a Canadian company, a Canadian brand that is valued, and by all accounts, without seeing actual revenue out of it, the score has seemingly done pretty well, at least in terms of app downloads and a Q score and all of that in Canada. But when you look back at it, we saw Penn buy this for $2.1 billion. Maybe the plan all along was, maybe it was, to get to exit the U.S. market and put everything on Barstool. But when you look at it, was Penn paying that premium for what's basically a media brand and legacy media revenue for branding in Ontario and Canada, and then the tech that they're going to move Barstool over to? That seems in today's world to be a lofty amount of money, and I'll be curious to see what Adam thinks. But you're just basically, now the score is basically just an Ontario sports betting app plus its legacy media app and everything it's doing in that. So interesting times, but it does follow up trend of people pulling back on brands here in the U.S. as it gets tougher to compete, and as paths to future higher valuations and growth look harder as you try to compete with the big boys here in the U.S.
Yeah, Adam, I mean, listen, I think you and I were a little more skeptical of this just because of the name recognition here in the States for the score, and I think specifically outside of maybe even the Northeast, right? I mean, like, I didn't really know. I mean, when I lived in Atlanta for 5 years, and the first time I heard of the score was when I started going up to Toronto for UFC events and stuff. So I was not familiar with the brand before I actually made the trip up to Toronto. And so I think people in the Northwest maybe had some sort of recognition of the brand, but I don't know if it really ever held any real cachet here in the States.
I'm with you, Matt, that the score was not a brand that I knew a whole lot about until we were talking about it in terms of sports betting. If this is any consolation for the score, I am now a user of their media app, and I like it a lot better than other score apps that are out there. But when it comes to making an imprint in the U.S. sports betting market, look, they were in 4 states. They end up with less than 1% share in New Jersey. I believe in Iowa, if you combine them with Barstool, you have about 5% share, and that Barstool probably makes up the bulk of that. So I think the question at this point is, what is Penn National's long game here? Benji Levy from the score said in the statement that they knew all along that they probably weren't going to be long for the U.S. market when they were acquired by Penn National. The plan was to use Barstool in the U.S., to use the score in Canada. Okay. And if the play really was that plus the tech, I mean, it brings up a couple of other questions. One, if you remember, Barstool / Penn National put together a pretty decent team to put together tech in the first place. And so, kind of an admission that maybe they need to have some better tech for the back end of their platform. And also, Dustin mentioned the $2.1 billion valuation. And look, I just think that's bad market timing, right? All in all, I mean, yes, we absolutely looked at it at the time and said, that feels like a lot of money. But it also happened to come last year at just about the crest of the acquisition fervor that we saw. And we've now kind of gone into a different market here where profitability matters a lot more than acquire at all costs. So, the question for Penn National becomes, what does the long game look like in the US and in Canada, especially in the US? Because by any objective measures, Barstool has not really made much of an imprint thus far in the U.S. market. They don't have any states where they're consistently past 5%. And both Barstool and the score, even prior to Penn National taking over the score, both went at this from the approach of, well, we have a dedicated user base already signed up. We don't necessarily need to go out and market ourselves and spend that money the same way. And in both cases, it has not worked quite yet. And my question to you guys, when it comes to Barstool in particular, is that aren't their customers, this base they have built in, if you're trying to get by on the idea that we have all of these users, but so many of them are in the 18 to 34 demographic where they either don't have a lot of money at the beginning of it, or they're going to age out of it fairly quickly at the end of it. I'm wondering how you keep players and build lifetime value when it comes to that. I know they're trying iCasino as well when it comes to Barstool, but these are things that I just have questions about when it comes to the long-term viability.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you. It's it's lower value players, and they're also not converting them. The numbers that kept being thrown out when they this partial acquisition was thrown out was like 60-some million fans of Barstool, that we're going to convert all of these fans of Barstool to sports bettors. No, if that was happening, Barstool would be the leader in sports betting in the United States if they could convert their entire fan base, or people who consume their content, or they consider loyal fans, or what have you. That would be what we're seeing. That we're not seeing that. Like you said, they're maybe 3 or 4 in like a Pennsylvania, but they're usually 5th or lower in a lot of other states that they've entered. So yeah, there's a question of people will call us Barstool haters, but I just look at it objectively that the plan that Penn and Barstool had was to come in, convert all these people, and then go crush the market. They have not done that, and like you said, even if they are converting all these people, are these the best bettors that you really want in terms of creating a valuable ecosystem for your company? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of questions, and it'll be interesting to see what the funnel looks like. I signed up for TheScore when it was live in New Jersey, I think, and I got an email saying go to Barstool Sports. I don't know, is that going to work? Probably not. Like that's not a different user. Like maybe if you you just go to another app, why did you go to Barstool if you didn't? So it'll be interesting to see like what Penn's plan is, but they've been all in on sports betting and online gambling, casino. I'll be curious to see what they do moving forward with this realization that they're not going to serve the U.S. with TheScore.
So, Adam, I guess as I got to sit here thinking about this, right, is look, we're obviously focused on one aspect whenever we do this podcast, Riley. We're certainly focused on the gaming aspect of everything. That said, we are also a media company. And is there a chance that we're overlooking the media aspect of this as well, right? I mean, we know there's an incredible amount of users that Barstool gets on a daily basis. They have gigantic advertising deals. They have gigantic sponsorship deals for the different things that they do and whatnot. I assume TheScore, with as popular as it is up in Canada, has major advertisers and major advertising dollars and sponsorship deals and stuff behind that. Could the sports betting angle of all this just kind of be like, I don't know, maybe 50-50 as opposed to like the main point of acquisition for all this? I mean, is there a chance that maybe this is just a cherry on top type situation where any money that you make from converting the people from the media sites is just kind of awesome?
Well, I guess the question that you then ask is, okay, if we're just going to look at this from the media angle, then where do we turn to the monetization angle for Penn? Are you just trying to get more exposure for Penn Nationals resorts? Are you just trying to say that you have more channels to get people to come out and spend time at their properties and spend in their casinos and on their other amenities? Like, are you just saying that you're just converting those advertising dollars, and so that means more in the end? I don't know. And I'm not questioning you. I'm really just kind of spitballing, brainstorming this whole thing and admitting that I'm probably a little bit over my skis if I try to go any farther than that in terms of understanding what the play looks like. And yes, look, Barstool in particular is a brand that goes well beyond sports betting and well beyond media. I was in a Smith's the other day and I was looking for some tonic water. And as I went to look for tonic water, I saw this product that was grape and ginger ale in a can that just said, just add alcohol to it. And I looked closer and it was Barstool branded. And I thought,
you're right.
I don't know who's buying this, but apparently they have market research that says someone is buying this. So the reach does go quite a long way.
Dustin, I guess I'll ask you the same question because obviously you've been in media a super long time as well. And I know that we hyper focus on the sports betting angle and the gaming angle when it comes to acquisitions and different things like this or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Are we, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here because this isn't on the thing. This just came to me while we were talking about this, but like, do you think we're kind of overlooking the media aspect of this a little bit?
We could be, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like Barstool is a valuable brand without sports betting, but it wasn't acquired as a media brand. That money, the 2.1 billion, wasn't to be, oh, Barstool is going to be like the end boss in sports media. Like maybe that could happen, I guess. It's grown a lot, and it's very valuable on its own. It does not stand up to that at all. And Penn National is not a media company, at least not the last time I checked, even though they now own most of and part of two media companies. These were meant to be media plays for sports betting. So I think we just kind of dismissed the rest of that. But again, the money we're paid, the Penn National has no desire to be a media company, right? Unless I'm totally misreading the situation. They acquired these to become the heavyweights in sports betting, and to date that hasn't happened. Again, it's not over. It doesn't mean that Barstool can't do this, and they can't put a lot of money into theScore and Barstool and market it more effectively than they are, and they can grow organically over the years. But right now, as we sit here, I don't see it, and I don't think again, yes, they're making money from these as media properties, but that's not the move the needle kind of money for shareholders in a publicly traded company and that has casinos all over the U.S.